Okay. Okay, so this is gonna be our first video. So this is gonna be our first video on solving sample paper for City and Guilds Stage 2 Mathematics. So this is sample paper set 7. So these are basically like past paper questions. So you can use these sample papers to help prepare you for City and Guilds. So we'll be looking at stage 2, and moving forward, we'll look at more sample papers to help prepare students so that they can do more questions, or pass their exams, their City and Guilds exams. Okay, so let's start with number 1. So our web page has 1,325,000 views. What is this number in figures? So 1 million, so we have the 1 million right here, so that would be the 7th digit. 325,000. So it's 1,325,000. So answer is B for number 1. Number 2, what is 900,605 in words? So 900,605. So D is the answer for number 2. So that's 900,605. Alright, so let's quickly look at number 3. In which of these numbers does 3 have a value in? Does 3 have a value of 3/10? So 3, when they talk about the tens place on the place value chart, this is a digit right before decimal number. So for example, if you have 2.5, if we have 2.5, then if we have 2.5, then 5 would be in the tens place. Why? Because 5 is a digit that comes immediately before decimal point. So let me change this back to blue. So which number has 3 in the tens place? That would just be A right here. So A. Because 3 is a number that comes immediately before decimal point right here. So 3 is in the tens place. Alright, moving on. So an electrician has 6 feet of cable, and you get a key right here. So 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. So how many inches are in 6 feet? So if you have 6 feet instead of 1, so if 1 foot equal to 12 inches, that means you're going to multiply 6 times 12. Will give you how many inches you need if you have 6 feet instead. So 6 times 12, and that will be equal to 72 inches. Alright, let's look at number 5. How many liters of oil does a shop owner need to fill 500 milliliters of bottle? So he needs to fill 500 milliliters of bottle. The first thing you need to do is to identify, or just simply just write out the prefix table. So persons who know about the prefix table, you can write it out. So we're trying to find from milli to liter. So first thing you need to do, identify how many milliliter gives you 1 liter. So in order to do that, you can quickly just write out a little bit the prefix table. So we start the prefix table with milli, then we go up to centi, then deci, then we'll have our base unit liter. So if you want to learn more about the prefix table and how to convert between the units in the metric system using the prefix table, you can do additional research on this, or you can wait. I'll put a video on that very soon. So by the time you are watching this, maybe the video is already up on the channel. So yes, so every time when we go up from one level to the next, we increase in multiples of 10. So from milli, let me just quickly, so let me just quickly show you what I mean. So from, okay, so from milli to centi, that's a 10. From centi to deci, that's 100. And from deci to liter, that's 1000. Because we are increasing, every time we increase, we are multiplying by 10. So 10, 100, 1000. So therefore, a thousand milliliter is equal to 1 liter. So let me just write it properly. 1000 milliliter is equal to 1 liter. Now, the fact is, we need to find out what's gonna happen, or how many liters we need if we have 500 milliliters of butter. So if we have 500 milliliters of butter, we need to know what's the total amount. So 5 times the 500 milliliter. So 5 times the 500 milliliter, that's gonna be equal to 5 fives, that's what? 25. So 25, and you just put back the 2 zeros. So that's 2500. So 5 times the 500, 5 times the 500 will be 2500. So that's a total milliliters of butters that we have right there. We're trying to fill with how many, trying to find how many liters of oil does that is that. So if 1000 milliliter is equal to 1 liter, that means that if we have 2500, that would just be 2.5 liters. So is the answer right there. All right, moving right along. Okay, so a customer ordered some items from a website. So they weigh 2.5 kilogram, 700 grams, and 250 grams. So what is the total weight of the three items? Now, because they don't have the same unit, because they don't have the same unit, because they don't have the same unit, the first thing that we need to do is to convert it so they have the same unit. So for the interest of time, because we have 2 grams already, let's quickly convert the kilogram into gram as well. So what you need to do is to find out how many grams is equal to a kilogram. So moving based on the prefix table again, after you have gram would be just like the base unit when you're looking at the metric system. So gram, then you have decagram, so decagram, hectagram, hectagram, and then you'll have your kilogram. So gram, decagram, hectagram, and kilogram. So I'm moving a bit fast. So I hope you guys are seeing what I'm doing right here. So what you do every time when you move up a level, you increase in multiples of 10. So 10, 100, 1000. So therefore, what this means is that 1000 grams. So 1,000 grams are equal to 1 kilogram. So if 1,000 grams is equal to 1 kilogram, so that 2.5 would definitely be just 2,500. So that's 2,500 grams. 2,500 grams. So let's add everything together so we can have our answer quickly. So let's add this first. So our 2.5 kilogram is just gonna be 2,500, and of course what I did was just to convert everything to grams. Then we're gonna add our 700 grams, and lastly we will add our 250 grams. So 250. So we're just gonna add everything together. 0 plus 0, so that will just give you 0. We have our 5 right here because 5 plus 0 plus 0 is just 5. We have a 7 right here. So 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 plus 7, 2, 7 is what? 14. And carry over the 1 to be added right here. So 1 plus 2, that would just be 3. Alright. And because we're in grams right here, because I added everything, I converted everything to be grams. If we want to convert it back to kilograms, we'll just divide by 1,000. And if we're dividing by 1,000, we simply just move the decimal place from the last digit right here. So that will be 1, 2, 3. Why? Because we are dividing by 1,000, because 1,000 grams is equal to 1 kilogram, and we want to convert our answer back into kilogram. So in order to get it into kilo as a kilogram, we just divide by the 1,000. How many zeros are there? 1, 2, 3. 3 zeros are there, so we just move decimal point back inside 3 times. So that's 1, 2, 3. So what's that answer? 3.45. We could put the 0, but we don't have to. So that's the kilograms. 3.45, and the answer is right there. Alright, moving right along. Oh my god. So question 7. Let's go back up there. So which of the following metric measurements is the nearest to 1 pint? Now, first of all, we have to understand or know what 1 pint is. So in math, 1 point. Alright, so in math, 1 point is equal to 568 milliliters. 568 milliliters. So therefore it will just be equal to, it'll be closest to 508. So we have 2 liters right here, 5 liters right there, and 10 liters right there. If it is the closest, if that is equal to 506 milliliters, the closest or the nearest to 1 pint would just be 0.5. So that's A. And we can do the work enough for that, just like above right here where we had the prefix table. So we said that 1,000 milliliter is equal to 1 liter, and we have right here just a little bit over half of a liter, because if a thousand, let me write it. So if 1,000 milliliter is equal to 1 liter, and we have 568 milliliters, then that would just be a little bit over half the liter. So the closest to 1 pint would just be 0.5. All right, moving right along. So our recipe states 40 minutes preparation time, 50 minutes cooking time, and 20 minutes to cool. What is the total time in hours and minutes? So how many minutes make an hour? That's 60. So let's add everything together and see if we can take out the 60 and see what's left. So 50, let's add first. I'll change the color. Now looking at this, before I add anything right here, look and see everything that you have right here. All the times, the 3 times that we have right here are in minutes. So because the times that we have are in minutes, we're just gonna add everything in minutes quickly. So 5, so that's 5, 0. So 50 minutes right here. For the 45 minutes and the 20 minutes, add them together. 0 plus 5 plus 0, that's 5. 2 plus 4, 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 plus 5, that's 11. Now, since we have that as a total minutes, since that's a total minutes, we'll just subtract 60 from that. Why we subtract 50? Sorry, why we subtract 60? Because 60 minutes, remember all of these are minutes. These are minutes. So what we did right there was the total minutes. So if you want to know how many minutes are left after we remove an hour, because we want the answer in hours and minutes, so we have to subtract 60. So let's just subtract it right here. So 60. So that's 1 from would be 5. Oh, my bad. So 0 minus 5 would just be 5, and 6 from 11 would just give you 5 as well. So that means that after we take off 60 minutes, which is an hour, we're just left with 55 minutes. So because we're left with 55 minutes, our answer should be 1 hour and 55 minutes. So let's look and see if we can see it right there. So 1 hour 55 minutes is right there, and that is just letter A. So A is the answer for number 8. That's the total time in hours and minutes. So add all the minutes together, you have 115 minutes as total. You subtract 60 minutes because 1 hour is 60 minutes, so you subtract 60 minutes, and we have 55 minutes remaining. All right, so going down. So which which one of the following temperatures would a room be comfortably warm? Okay, so water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. So 70 is definitely out there. Uh, so what's a warm room temperature? So we have at most we have 10 degrees Celsius, and we have 24. So what's a warm room temperature? So that would just be 24 Celsius. Why? Because it says that what's a warm room. So a warm room would be warm enough, and 0 degrees is freezing, by the way. So if we have 10 from, if we have 10 degrees, that should also be very that should be cold. So the most reasonable answer right there is 24 degrees. So as I said before, the reason why 10 degrees is just way too close to 0 degrees. So that's pretty cold. So if because you want a warm room, your answer would be, the safest answer would be 24, degrees Celsius. Number 10. So what is 117,000 minus 4,000 4,660? So let's do it right here. So we have 1729. I really like spacing out my letters when I'm subtracting. The reason why is because you make less mistakes when you space your digits out properly. So all right, so let's subtract. So first thing, 0 from 9, it will just be 9. 6 subtracted, take 6 from 2, we can, so we'll take a 7 right here. This will be 10. Take 1 from the 10, this will be 12. So 6 from 12, that's 6. So that's 6. We have 9 right here, so subtract 9 from 3, subtracted from 9. So 3 minus 3, take away from 9. That will just be left with 6 as well. So if you take away 3 from 9, you'll be left with 6. After we take 1 from 7, you'll be left with 6 right here. So 4 take away, if you take away 4 from 6, you'll be left with 2. And we have a 1 right here. So we'll just put it back because no digit was there. So we'll just put the 1, back where it should be. So in all, we have 12,669. All right, so that's the answer for number 10. Moving on, we're gonna add again. So we're adding 10,000. So 10,000. Oh, let's space these out because I said before it's very good to space these out. Person's wondering why I am doing the actual work, for these instead of quickly doing it with my calculator. It's city and guilds. We don't use calculator. So me going through these is just me, quickly teaching as much as I can for all the students who are, practicing, practicing for city and guild stage 2. So just going over these is just like revision. So you're just practicing and learning so they don't make any mistakes. So, 10,600. So 10,659. And let's go closer. So 10,659, and we have, let's put the second larger number right there. So that's 660 309 302, and we're just adding these together. So when we add these together, we have 9 plus 6, that's 15. 15 plus 2, that's 17. So put down the 7 and you're gonna add the 1. So 1 plus 5, that's 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. And we have a 0 down there, so put down the 2. Carry the 1. So 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 0 is 0. And 7 plus 3, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10. So put down the 0, carry the 1, in here adding. And 1 plus 0, that's 1. 1 plus 3, that's 4. And we'll just carry the 1 right here. So what's that? 14,027. So let's see if we see it right there. So 14,027. So that's D. So these are answer for number 11. Moving on to question 12. So a family spends as families spend 1,960 each month on food. What is the total for 12 months? So I'm going to repeat. So a family spends 1,960 each month. So they spend it each month. So that's 1 month on food. What is the total for 12 months? So we're going to multiply. Why we're going to multiply? Because this is what they spent every month. We want to know how many they spend for 12 months. So we'll just multiply what they spend for 1 month by what they spend for 12 months. So that's long and short of it. So 1,960 multiplied by 12. So let's see. And for those who don't know how to multiply with the 2 digits, let's go through it quickly. So 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 6 is 12. So you put down the 2, carry the 1, you add it. 2 times 9 is 18, plus 1, that's 19. Oh, that's 19. So you have a 9 right there. So 19, so we carry over the 1, that should be added as well, because 2 times 9 is 18, plus the 1, 19. So we carry over the 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus the 1, that's 3. Alright, so before we multiply using the 1 right here, and let me just quickly show you what I'm talking about, because I know some persons. Alright, so before we multiply using the 1 right there, because remember, we're not multiplying by 2, we're multiplying by 12. So you multiply using each digit. So after you multiply using the 2, we're going to multiply using the 1. So let's clean this off right here, the additional workings, and let's go now. So first things first, when multiplying with the second digit, you put a placeholder right here. So we'll put a placeholder 0. After which now multiply like normal. So 1 times 0, 0. 1 times 6, 6. 1 times 9, 9. 1 times 1, 1. Over. So we just add them together now. 0 plus 0, 0. 2 plus 0, 2. 6 plus 9, 15. Put down the 5. Carry the 15 to be added. 1 plus 3, 4. 4 plus 9, 13. Carry the 1 to be added. 1 plus 1, 2. What's that equal to? 23,520. Let's see if we see it. So 23,520 is right here. So that's C. Alright, moving on. So now we have 13. So 13, what is 3,240 divided by 18? So let's go. So 18 divided by 3,240. Okay, so let's go. So how many times we can get 18 from 32? Anybody? Okay, so jokes aside. So 32 divided by 18 will be equal to 2 times 18. So that will just be 1. So what I did right there, oh, let me just quickly just fix this right here. Alright, so 18 into 3 you can't, so let's just do it a little bit better for you. Because so 3 into 18 can't, so after you divide you multiply, so you'll have 0 right here, subtract, and I'm just going through the full long division with you guys. So carry the 2, that's 32. How many times 18 can go into 32? That's 1. So 18. Why? Because 1 times 18 is 18. After you multiply you do subtraction. After you subtract, you have 32 minus 18, and that will give you 8 minus 12. So 8 minus 12, that is just 4. 2 minus 1 is 1. So 2 minus 1 is 1. After you subtract, always bring down. When you bring down, you have 144. So after you bring down, you always repeat when multiplying. So repeating when multiplying, now you just ask yourself, what's 144? How many times I can divide 144 into 18? How many times I can divide 144 into 18? And yeah, that will just give you 18. So 144 divided by 18 is equal to 8. So that's just 144. So that you subtract, you have 0, and you bring down. So you bring down the 0, that's just another 0. So because there is another 0 afterwards, you put it right there. So what's the answer right there? We have 180. So 180. That's the answer for 13. Alright, so moving right along. Let's clear this. So a coach holds 52 people. How many coaches are needed for 416 people? Let's clear this off. So we can create more space. So a coach alright, so a coach holds 52 people. How many coaches are needed for 416 people? So we're dividing 50. Let's write it properly. So 52 divided by 416. I'm a bit tired because of the time, so bear with me. Alright, so first of all, 52 into 41, you can't, so that's 0. How many times 52 can go into 416? So that's 416. 416 divided by 52, that's equal to 8. So that's would be 16. And after you multiply right there, we always subtract. So remember, multiply 8 times 52, 416. After you multiply, you subtract, you'll just be left with 0. So how many coaches are needed for 116 people? That's just 8. Alright, so moving right along. And by the way, for whenever we're divided and you don't know, let's say for example, you don't know how many, times you have to multiply, or how many times 52 can divide into 416, just find, you don't have to draw 416 circles. You can just multiply, or do random addition of 52. Remember, multiplication, it's repeated addition. So 52 plus 52 is the same thing as 52 times 2. 52 plus 52 plus 52 is the same as 52 times 3. So these are just for the persons who need additional assistance. But if you are having problems with dividing, then you can watch a video on that or refresh your mind, because if you don't know how to divide, you're not going to pass the exam. Alright, moving on to the next question. So we have 15. What is 1106 times 33? So let's move quickly on this. So 1106 times multiplied by a 2-digit number, that's 33. My God. So 3 times 6, that's 18. So 18, we'll put the 8, and we're gonna add 1 at the top. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 1, you put down the 1 right there. 3 times 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 times 1 again is 3. You put your placeholder before you multiply using next digit, so placeholder 0. And because you're multiplying with the same digit, you should have the same numbers above after the placeholder. So that should be, 8, 1, 3, 3, and we'll just add everything together quickly. So 0 plus 8, that's 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. 1 plus 3, that's 4. 3 plus 3, that's 6. And we'll have a 3 right there. So that is 36,498. Let's see if we can find that. So it's right here, number C, 36,498. Alright, moving on. So a woman saves $300 a month for 12 months. So she saves that amount for 12 months. And 350 a month for the next 12 months. So how much does she save in total? So in 1 month she saves 300 each month for 1 year, so that's 12 months. And then now the other year, now she saved just 150 per month. So now we're just gonna do two calculations first. So 300 times 12. So 300 times 12, and we're also going to find what is 350 times 12. So person's wondering what happened. This is year 1, this is year 2. Year 1, year 2 is 2 years. 12 months make 1 year. So because 12 months make 1 year, in 1 year she saved 300,000 every month. And the other year she saves 300 each month. So let's do the calculation by just multiplying quickly. So 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 0 again is 0. 2 times 3 is 6. Place order. 1 times 0, 0. 0 again, 1 times 0. And 1 times 3 is 3. Add them together, that's 3,600. Right here we have 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 5, that's 10. Put the 1 and we're adding. 2 times 3, that's 6. 6 plus 1, that's 7. Put the placeholder. 1 times above will just give us the 350. And quickly let's add them. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0. 7 plus 5, that is 12. So put on 1, that's adding. 1 plus 3, that's 4. So we have these two numbers together. So we have these two numbers together. So 4,200 and 3,600. So we add them together. Well, let me just put it down here and not confuse anyone. So 4,200 plus 600, so 3,600. So let's add them together quickly. So that's 0, 0. 6 plus 2 is 8, and 3 plus 4, that is 7. So 7,800 and 7,800. So the answer is C, 7,800. Moving right along. Guys, don't mind me. I may not be able to finish the video today because the time is getting so late. But I will definitely perhaps make a part 2 afterwards for this video. Alright, so we're on question 17 right now. Let's see if we can do a few more before it gets too late. Alright, so a meal costs $176 for one group of people. They add a $24 tip to this amount. 8 persons divide the cost equally. How much should each person pay? So we're gonna divide. Anytime when I hear, the 8 people divide the total cost, or splitting bills, that's dividing. So basically what happened, you and your friend gone out on a group to eat at the restaurant. The group paid $176, but they added the $25 tip. So that total now. So we're gonna add the 176 to the $24, and when we do that, after we do that, we're just gonna divide by the 8 people. So let's do it right now. So let's quickly do this. So first thing, we have 176 plus 24. So 24. Oh my god. So all right. So 6 plus 4 is 10, and then 7 plus 1, that's 8. So 8 plus 2, that's 10. The plus 1, so 1 plus 1, that's 2. So that's $200. So since it's $200, now we divide it by the 8 persons. So quickly, so 8 divided by 200. 200. There's 206. Alright, so first things first, that should be 2. So how many 2 into 20, because 2 can go into 2, so 2 into 20, sorry, 8 into 2 we can't, so 8 into 20, that's just 2. So 2 times 8 is 16. 16 minus 20, you'll be left with 4. After you take away, you bring down, so that would be 40. After you bring down, you go back to divide, so you're gonna repeat. So 8 divided by 40 is just 5. 5 times 8 is 40, and you'll be left with nothing. So the answer is each person, if each person is paying, if there are 8 persons paying equally, of they'll just be paying $25. All right, let's see if we can do one more. So let's do this one quickly. So we have, what is 3.098 plus 4.36? So write the bigger number, and the bigger number is surprisingly right here. So that is 4 points instead of the 3 points. So let's write it out. So 4.36 plus, oh my god, plus 3.098. If you're wondering what happened to the zero, to the digit above the 8, just put a 0 as a placeholder. It's not gonna change the value, because remember, these are points, so this is a point, so it's not 4,000, it's just 4. All of these comes afterwards. Nothing happens if you put a 0 right there, it just acts as a placeholder. So 0 plus 8 is 8. 6 plus 9 is 15. 1 plus 3 is 4. Point right there. Point what? 3 plus 4 is 7. And that's the answer. So 7.458. So let's see if it's right here. Yeah, C. Alright, let's go down a bit. So multiplying once more. Okay, so what is 45.25 times 17? So let's work this as our final question, and I think I'll do the rest for part 2 of the video. So 45.25 times 17. Now, whenever we're multiplying a whole number by the decimal point, and we see that we have a certain amount of decimal places, the answer should have the same decimal place. So right here we have 2 decimal place, so our answer is gonna have 2 decimal place. For those wondering how you know what you have 2 decimal place, before decimal point there is 1, 2 numbers, so there are 2 numbers before decimal point, so that's 2 decimal places. So our answer is gonna have is gonna be written in 2 decimal places. So yeah, let's quickly multiply now, and then move on from there. So 7 times 5, 7 times 5 is just 35. So 35, put the 3 right here, and you know we're adding the 3. 7 times 2, that's 14. 14, 7 times 2 is 14. 14 plus 3, that is 17. So put the 7, carry the 1. 7 times 5 is 35 again, plus 1, that's 36. 36. Put the 3 over here. 7 times 4. 7 times 4 is 28. So 28 plus 3, that is 31. and then we move on to the 1. So put the placeholder first before multiply by 1. Put the placeholder 0. So 1 times 5, that's 5. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 4 is 4. And then we add these together. 0 plus 5 is 5. 5 plus 7 is 12. Add the 1. Add the ones. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 2. Even my battery is getting tired. So 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 2, that's 8, 9, 9. So that's 9. 5 plus 1, that's 6. 4 plus 3, that is 7. So remember, we put back the decimal places, so 2 decimal places. So we start right here. Let's change the color and do it quickly. So 1, 2. Oh, 1, 2. So our decimal point will be right here. So that would be 769.25. So let's see if we see it right here. Remember, we're doing question 19, so 769.25. So the answer is D. Okay, so that is the first part of the video. I wanted to continue and finish off, but it's getting late. Tomorrow is Teachers Day. I was just passionate, and I just wanted to give you, going through at least one past paper question so that my students can have something to practice with tonight. Although I haven't, haven't finished the question or the paper, but I will definitely do another part to this video. But this is just the first part. I hope you can follow along so you can, I hope it helps you with your studying, your practicing. I'm tired, and that will be it until next time. Thank you for watching.